Hello and welcome to a New York Times Hard Sudoku. Today is December 9, 2022. Motivated by a comment by a subscriber, and thank you for that. I am becoming aware that a lot of people don't really know how to solve puzzles without pencil marks, or maybe they don't dare do that, or maybe they're just lacking practice. And I thought for this video, I would try to use the Snyder notation all the way through the solve of this New York Times puzzle, which I haven't seen before today anyway. And if you would like, please comment below if you want to see more puzzles where I use pencil marks for solving. I would place them in a different playlist so that you can subscribe to either one or the other. So please comment in the comment section whether you would like to see some of those puzzles. So I hope that solving this one using pencil mark is not going to be too much of a disappointment for some of you, but I promise it'll probably be quick. By the way, before I start, I should explain the Snyder notation, shouldn't I? The Snyder notation says that if you use pencil marks, you should try to limit yourself to entering pencil marks in a box of 3 by 3 cells if a digit can go there exactly 2 times, not 3 times or 4 times, but just 2 times. I will show you what I mean. For example, in this box up here, this cell must be either a 1 or a 7, and this one as well, because these two cells cannot be 1 and 7 because of the 1 and 7 already in this row. So that leaves only 2 cells, and it's not difficult to figure out that they have to be a 3 or a 9, and a 3 and a 9 that would go here. And we can elaborate on that. By having found this 3 and a 9 and the 3 up here, we now know that a 3 cannot go in this row anymore, and it cannot go in this row anymore. And the 3 here and the 3 here also prohibit a 3 from going in any of these 4 cells. That leaves only this cell for 3. Now I'm looking at these two 7s, and they block these 5 cells. The 7 here blocks these 3 cells. So a 7 for this column must go here. The 8 here blocks these 2 cells, and therefore we can enter a pencil mark in this cell and in this cell. We can also enter pencil marks for 8s in this cell and in this cell here, because these two 8s block those 4 cells here. The 5 here and the 5 here block these 5 cells, and this 5 blocks these 3 cells. So we can enter pencil marks for a 5 in the top row here and here. This 4 and this 4 and this 4 puts a 4 candidate in this cell and in this cell. And this 6 and this 6 blocking these 4 cells, and this 6 up here blocking these 2 cells, puts a candidate in these 2 cells like so. This 1 and this 1 block these 5 cells, therefore this cell must be a 1. The 4 here blocks these 2 cells, and the 4 here blocks these 2 cells, therefore we can enter a pencil mark here and here. The 2, 4, 6, and 8 will have to find homes in these 4 cells here, but it's not possible at this time to enter any pencil marks for any of them. This 5 blocks these 2 cells, and therefore a 5 for column 1 will have to go here, here, or here. So a 5 here, a ghost 5 here. We now need to find a 5 for one of these 3 cells. And it cannot be this cell because of the 5 here. So we can enter pencil marks for 5s here and here. This 9 and this 9 prevents a 9 from going in any of these 4 empty cells, and therefore a 9 could go here or it could go here, but no other place in this row. If we look at column 7, we can see that we still need to find a 1, 3, 8, and a 9. There's a 3, 9, and an 8 that can all look at this cell, and therefore it must be a 1. This cell here is interesting because we need to find for this row a 2, 5, 6, and an 8. There's a 2, 6, and an 8 already staring at this cell right here, so it's got to be a 5. And now we can enter pencil marks for a 5 in this box because we got this 5 blocking this cell and this 5 blocking this cell. So one of these two cells now will have to be a 5, as will one of these two cells here because of the 5 here and the 5 here and the 5 here. And we can further limit the number of empty cells in this column 9. We need to find now a 1, 3, 7, and a 9. There's a 1, 7, and a 9 already in this row, so this cell has got to be a 3. It can be nothing but a 3. And that 3 removes the 3 candidate from this cell, and as soon as we remove it from this cell, we know that this cell must be a 3 because those are the only two options for 3s in this box. So this now becomes a 9, and this becomes a 3. This 3 and this 3 and this 3 puts a 3 in this cell right here. And as soon as we remove the 8 candidate here, because we make it a 3, this one now becomes an 8. And this is the last digit for the column. Of course, it must be a 9, and we can now remove the 9 candidate from this cell. Now these 3 cells have to be a 2, 4, and a 6. This is a 1, 7, and this, of course, now also has to be a 1 or a 7. And because we found this 5 here, this cell cannot be a 5 anymore. And because of this 5, these two cells cannot be 5s. So we can enter pencil marks like so for the 5s in the first column. The 3 in these two rows lets us go hunting down a place for a 3 in this row here. Since it can't go here, here, or here, and the 3 here also tells us that it can't go here, this is where the 3 must go. And now we got these two 3s blocking these cells here, and we got this 3 blocking these two cells, so this is a 3, and as soon as we input a 3 here, this cell now becomes a 5. So 3 here, 5 here. And remember, we had two options for a 5 in this 3 by 3 block. The 5 here now removes the 5 candidate from this cell, and now the big number 5 has to go here. The 5 here and here puts a 5 in this cell, removing this candidate 5. Now we need a 2, 6, and an 8 for these 3 cells. The 6 here makes this a 6 candidate, and this is a 6 candidate. The 8 here makes this an 8 candidate, and this an 8 candidate. And this can be a 2 as well as those two other cells. They can all be a 2. So I will not enter a 2 as a candidate anywhere. Now the 7 here and the 7 here will put a pencil mark for 7 here and here, of course. This 9 blocks these 3 cells, and this 9 blocks these 3 cells. So a 9 candidate must go here and here. The accompanying digit will have to be a 1, and here is why. This 1 blocks these cells, and this 1 blocks these cells. So now we have a 1 and a 9 pair here. A ghost 1 here and a 1 here plus this 1 gives me a 1 here or here. And now that a 7 can't go in any of these two cells, and it cannot go here because of this 7, it cannot go here because of this 7, we can now enter pencil marks for a 7 here and here. And that gives us a 7 for this cell right here, because these 4 sevens make it impossible for a 7 to go here, here, or here. And the only available cell for a 7 now in this row is going to be here. So these cells now have to be a 2, 4, and a 6. And that makes these cells here a 1, 5, and a 9. And since we now have this 7, this cell cannot be a 7 anymore. It must be a 1, making this 1 going away. And this is now a 7, and this therefore is a 1. The 1 here makes this a 9 and this a 1. And now we got a 9 here, and we got a 9 here, putting a 9 in this cell. And the 9 here and the 9 here completes these two cells. So we now have a pair of 7 and 9s. This 6 here puts a 6 either here or here. And therefore 6 cannot go in any of these 3 cells. And these 2 cells are blocked by 7 and 9. So a 6 will have to go here or here. And the same is true for the 2. There's a 2 here that blocks these 2 cells, so the 2 must go in one of these 2 cells. And since the 2 now cannot go in any of these 3 cells, and also not in these 2, and because of the 2 here, 2 can't go here either, this cell now must be a 6, and this is a 2. And because we have mandatory 2 and 6 here, this cell here now cannot be a 4 anymore. And this cell, of course, can't be a 4 either because of this 4. So this is a 4. I see I did something strange here. This cell, of course, must be a 2. My mistake. So the 2 here and the 2 here puts a 2 in one of these 2 cells. Let's just enter the pencil marks for completeness. These 3 cells now have to be a 4, 8, and a 5. And we got a 4 here, and we got a 5 here. Therefore, this must be an 8. And these 2 cells, of course, a 4 and a 5 pair. So it's all coming together quite neatly, I think. This cell now cannot be a 6 anymore. This cell cannot be a 6, so this cell must be a 6. And that would make this an 8 and this a 2. This lonely cell up here must be an 8 now. And the center cell up here is going to be a 7. It's the last digit missing from the row. These 2 cells now have to be a 4 and an 8. This cell must be a 4 because of the 8 present in this box. So this is a 4 and this is an 8, removing an 8 from this cell as a candidate. Now we just need to find a 2 and a 4 for these 2 cells, and that's easy because of the 4 present here. This is now a 4 and this is a 2. This cannot be a 4 anymore. It can only now be a 2. And therefore the 6 goes here. These 2 cells have, besides the 2, we need to find a 9. And that's easy enough because of the 9 here. This is a 2 and this is a 9. This 2 and this 2 puts a 2 here, making this a 6 and this a 2, of course. The last digit here is going to be 6. And this 6 and this 6 and this 6 makes this a 6. And now it cannot be a 1 anymore. So the 1 will have to go here. This must be a 4 because it's the last digit missing from the column, making this an 8. And this 8 and this 8 and this 8 puts an 8 here, making the 7 candidate go away. And the 7 therefore must go here. And this is now a 7 and this must be a 9. 9 here and here puts a 9 in this cell. And the other one, of course, now must be a 5, making this cell a5, and this a4, and this a4. So this is how you would go about solving a odd New York Times Sudoku using Snyder pencil marks and nothing but. And I hope that those of you who really enjoy solving without pencil marks, you weren't too disappointed. And as I said earlier, if you would like to see more videos solved using pencil marks, just comment please in the comment section and I will make a special playlist for those. Thank you for watching and see you again back here soon. Bye for now.